Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things we've got to talk about because, honestly, we haven't talked about these things in a minute. All right, we got some things to talk about for sure. So, of course, before we get into everything, you guys have got to give me a little bit of a solid and do this one thing for me, okay? Before we get into everything, all right? Hit that like button down below, crush it, do it a do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button, all right, on those platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there, and Pascal Raw. Subscribe to all those channels. That'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe. All right. Make sure you hit that notification bell on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's very random. Okay, your boy's busy out here, man. Your boy's busy. So make sure you're hitting that notification bell so you know whenever I go live and whenever I upload, okay? Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there, PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. Okay, guys. We have got to get into some things. We got things to talk about. And there's been a lot of stuff that has been transpiring over the weekend revolving around this whole Celeste David Tesla situation. Okay, I've realized and I've learned that I've been saying Tesla wrong. I've been saying Tesla because that's how I'm used to saying Tesla. I'm used to saying Tesla, y'all. But apparently, I've been saying it wrong. It's Tesla. So there you go. Now I'm forever changed. All right, it's Tesla. It's Tesla. Just so you know. But here's the thing. A couple things have happened over the past couple days. Yeah, Tesla. I learned, aside from that, we learned a bunch of things over this weekend. Something dropped yesterday, and then a statement dropped from David's manager yesterday. And then we have a statement from LAPD. So we got some very interesting things popping off. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not mention that I actually could be right. I may be a mother-loving genius. Oh, stop applauding. You don't have to applaud. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, enough. I'm blushing. Here's the thing. So I put out a video. I put out a theory, and some of y'all got upset about it. Now, here's the thing. I get it. Everyone's going to get into their fifis about this stuff, okay? Everybody thinks that they're a detective. I don't think I'm a detective. I just have a theory. Now, that theory could be 110% right or completely 110% wrong. All I can say is that it's a theory nonetheless that may be backed up by things that are being said in these statements. Yeah. So I may be right. Mother lover, I may be right. My theory might be right. I'm a genius. I could be wrong, though, too. Sorry. I don't mean to get so excited. I could be absolutely wrong, too. Let me keep it a bean with y'all. All right? I could be absolutely wrong. I could be wrong. But it feels so right. Okay. Before we go into that theory, we have got to get into some of the things that happened yesterday. Yeah, I need smoke effects. You know what I need? I need the pyrotechnics from CK's memorial service. Okay. I need the WWE production setup like CK's memorial service. Coming up next, Erica Kurt. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it felt like a little bit. Okay. That's kind of what it felt like. Just a tiny bit. Did it not? Okay, that's another conversation. Okay, I don't mean to be Slim Shady, but that it did feel like a little bit like that. Okay, John Cena, you know what I mean? But that's another conversation in itself. I think her statements were impactful. Let's just say that. Okay, you know what I mean? Nobody. Okay, but I should get I should have the lights change and lasers flying around. You know what I mean? Have y'all seen T-Pain's live shows? His live streams? They crazy out here. Okay? They crazy. Okay? Scene changes and everything. That's another conversation. That's a whole other conversation. But first, we got to get into, first things first, before we go into my brilliant theories, okay? And how brilliant I am. We have got to get into the conversation that popped off last night. Now, Josh Marshall is David's manager. And for those of y'all who don't know who Josh Marshall is, he's David's manager. He's the one who also was apparently, allegedly, paying and signed on the lease to the $20,000 a month rent mansion that David was staying in. Okay. So apparently the person who was bankrolling David's stay at this mansion was his manager, Josh Marshall, which, by the way, $20,000 a month rent is absolutely out of this world. Okay. That's a whole lot of quiche, man. What I could do with $20,000 a month. Shoot. Okay. Shoot. Not paying $20,000 a month on rent. I tell you what, but that's another conversation in itself as well. Now, what we understand and what has been said out here is that Josh Marshall was actually living in the house with David. So there's been a lot of people asking a lot of questions about how would she not know? How would he not know? How would Josh Marshall not know about Celeste Rivas? How would she not know? Sorry, I keep on saying she. How would he not know, right? Everybody keeps on saying, we got to ask questions to the manager because he grown, okay? This is a grown man, just like David, but you get what I'm saying. He's another person in the house. You mean to tell me that she would have, that he would have no clue that Celeste was not of age if they were all living in the same house together? So much that there was theory that maybe she was unalived by him. Yes, there are theories out here now that say maybe Josh Marshall is the one who raised his hand and did the final blow, taking this young 14 at that time, most likely 14 years old at the time, Celeste's life, and then maybe stuffing her in the front trunk of David's Tesla to try to frame David for this crime. Okay. Well, now we got something new because Josh Marshall is coming out and speaking out and saying a few things that I think are very, very interesting. I'm just going to be real. I'm very interested to see what's going on here because it just doesn't make really any sense for what he is saying out here, pushing back on what he says is basically a false narrative about him that's out here in these streets. So we got to take a look at this. And there's been a lot of cross-referencing. There's been a lot of research to make sure if this account is actually real and this is actually him. And from what they're saying it's definitely him on another account. Now, he's a manager. Let me say that first and foremost. He's a manager. So he may not be like a content creator, manager type person. You see what I'm saying? He may be one of those people who just manages his artists and makes his money in the background, right? So he may not have a whole bunch of followers on TikTok or on all these other platforms. He just may be more concerned about managing his artists and making that money. Let's be real. If you're flying your clients, your artists on private jets and allegedly paying $20,000 a month for an artist to stay in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, yeah, you got other things to worry about than making content on TikTok. So it could be very likely that this is truly him, okay? But it is weird because of what he is saying in these statements. And there's a lot of pushback, and I agree with the pushback as well. Let's take a look at these, the statement, okay? He said this on a smaller creator, and we are all creators, okay? All creators are created equal, okay? But this was a smaller account. This is not like he put this on some huge TikTok account that's been covering this situation. He just put this on a smaller content creator's account, which is also interesting, okay? But he felt compelled to say something. And you can see even in his comment, he tagged a whole bunch of people's names, some true crime content creators, SF Investigates, which of course we are going to be seeing his face here in a little bit. He's also been heavy into this case as well. He just put in a whole bunch of people in here. So he wanted people to see this comment for sure. So it says here, and it's a couple posts. So let's get into it. It says, "This is for anyone that has spread misinformation about me that greatly affects myself and my family without any regard for the facts. Also, I hope the creator of this video pins my comment and corrects what she said with a new video, and anyone else making false statements or following a narrative about me that isn't true." And then he tagged a bunch of creators, okay? Then, let's see, greatly affecting so many lives. I have never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything. I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time, and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients / David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. Now, here's the thing. First off, Joanna, you didn't miss much on Facebook. Joanna, you didn't miss much. You just got right here. We just got started, okay? We just doing our warm-ups right now so we don't pull a hammy. You just got here, so you're right on time. Now, here's the thing. I'm side-eyeing the hell out of this. You mean to tell me if you are paying, and we haven't gotten through the whole statement yet, but if you're paying for if you're paying $20,000 a month for an actual home, a mansion, first off, that's a lot of money. Second, don't you want to watch how your money is being spent? Don't you want to make sure that David is on his P's and Q's, that he's not doing anything crazy like, destroying that $20,000 a month mansion rental? You see what I'm saying? I would be a little bit more concerned about all of that. And then the other thing too, before we continue on, what about the orange or red? We've heard two different colors, the orange or red Tesla that was parked inside the garage. What about that one too? They say that was in his name, in Josh Marshall's name. So you mean to tell me you don't go over there and chill? Again, if this is really him, or if this is a troll, this troll is really coming out here trying to throw a wrench in this whole mother-loving thing. So make that make sense. He has a Tesla parked inside the garage of the actual mansion. And they're saying that this is not him? That he doesn't keep an eye on his clients? To a certain extent, you're just calling up your client every once in a while, yet you're paying $20,000 a month in rent for a mansion on in the Hollywood Hills, and you're not doing nothing about. Make that make sense. Like I said, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So moving on, let's continue on. All right. So he says there's many others that work with him day to day on a day-to-day capacity, not me. The news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind people, a lot of this is speculation and alleged, or some people say alleged. Anyway, in the meantime, I am with my family, helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Okay. Please report on factual information, Josh Marshall. Now, here's the thing. I want to make this abundantly clear. This part, I don't mean to be mean. All right. I don't mean to be mean, but there's some contradictions going on in this statement. And it's more feeling than fact. Just hear me out. First off, he said, I work remotely 95% of the time. My job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients / David. That part right there. So you're saying, I don't talk to him. He got other people that talk to him on a day-to-day basis. I don't talk to him. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. I'm all the way over here in the nosebleed seats. He's just a guy. He's just a client that I talk to every once in a while. But most of the time I'm talking to his handlers, and that's about it. Here's the other part that I find weird. Like I said, it's a fact, but it's more feeling. But the feeling seems weird. Hear me out. The last part of this sentence, of this statement, before he says, please report on factual information, that last sentence. In the meantime, I'm with my family, helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Pause right there. What's going on with that? If you have no connection or interaction with this person, why would your family need to be helped emotionally? He's contradicting himself. That doesn't make any sense. If there's no connection to this client, and there's so many other firewalls, if you will, of people that you have to get through before you actually reach out to David, why would his family be in their fifis about this situation? Why would they be mortified? Why would they be emotional about this information? That's weird. That's weird. I'm sorry. Don't mean to break it down like that, because some of y'all be like, man, that's just feeling, bro. Come on, bro. That's just feeling, dog. Come on, dog. Where's the facts, though? Well, the facts are, he said, I don't talk to him. I don't have much interaction with him. I don't know him like that. But his family, he's helping them get through this emotionally difficult time with this news of this tragedy. Say what? Say word? That makes no mother loving sense, baby. None. Unless somebody is acting as Josh Marshall and is just trying to throw things off and just being morbidly disturbing by throwing things in. Yeah, the math ain't mathing with that part. With all due respect. So you mean to tell me the Tesla that he owns, that apparently is under his name, that's in the garage of this house, that he's flipping the bill on, not David. He doesn't stay in that house. His name is on the lease, but he doesn't stay in the house that he's spending $20,000 a month on. His car that allegedly is his is in the garage as well. And now he's saying he doesn't have any interaction with him like that. There's other people that rock with him. He's just like the middleman, and he does everything, remotely from home in his, room that probably smells like dirty feet Dorito smell. Okay. And he's doing everything just chilling in a, some ripped up t-shirt and some skivvies. So make this make sense. That seems weird, right? No interaction, but I'm still rapping with my family, and we're going through this difficult time. How's this difficult for you if you have no connection with this guy? That doesn't make any sense. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying losing a life is I'm not sitting here saying that her life isn't the loss of her life isn't tragic. Absolutely, it is. And the fact that he knows this client, but if he does not interact with him like that, there's no emotional attachment to the situation. So it's like, oh, dear Lord, that's terrible. Oh, thoughts and prayers. And then you're calling up your next client. Hey, Johnny, baby, we got another, big deal coming for you. Go down to this particular street and get interviewed by this big movie mogul and let's make some money, or whatever the hell it is. I got a performance for you, at the Whiskey A Go-Go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not sitting there, holding his wife and children and rocking them back and forth, being like, it's okay. These things happen for a reason. No, he's not doing that. If you're not emotionally connected and it was just business, why would your family be going through an emotionally difficult time? Makes no sense to me. Sorry. A lot of these people, it's just business. It's just business. Moving on. He continues. He says this video is false and the person is misinformed. This is the only time I'll speak on this matter for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I received no emails. And I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. Then he throws in his daughter. My daughter is 14. And this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything. And I don't live in California. Also, I work remote. He said this again, but he said, I work remotely, which we already read that part, right? So this was a little bit backwards, okay? But again, information is false. The video of this content creator that created this is not correct. It's false. He says, I don't live in that place. He is not my roommate. I am not his roommate. I live full time with my wife and kids. And this guy is really married. He does. I'm assuming he has kids, but he is really married. My daughter's 14, and the news and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. You didn't receive any emails. And had no knowledge of anything. And I don't live in California. He works remotely, like we just talked about before. Okay? So again, this seems a little bit weird. I don't live out here. I don't live in LA, or I don't live in California. I live somewhere else. I work remotely. This is all sad and tragic, but I don't rock with him like that. Seems a little bit weird, right? It's a little weird. So SF investigates Stephen Fisher, okay, who has been doing a really great job covering this whole thing, okay? He's the one who talked about the car, getting the history of the car, about how long the car had been on the side of the road and all that, okay? Which is also very, very interesting as well. I'm just going to be completely real. It has been very, very interesting, okay, about all of that. But nonetheless, he talked about this. So I want to share a few things here too, okay? He says here, clearly people close to David, like his manager, Josh Marshall, are likely to trying to distance themselves not only from the demise of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, but also from very public grooming and predatory behavior. Those who enabled this criminal activity should be charged alongside David. Let's pause right there. I completely agree. 110%. Any person that was sitting there going, you knew her age, and you're like, all right, cool. All right, David, get yours, bro. Yeah, you should be charged as well. Period. Don't care. Don't care. This is some crazy stuff. And I want you guys to know this too before we continue on, okay? Just a little side note, okay? Sidebar. Here's the thing. I've heard stories about this kind of stuff in the past. What David did where he was hiding in plain sight with Celeste, who clearly was not of age, or she was acting like she was a certain age when she really wasn't. This is a tale as old as time, guys. I want to make that abundantly clear. I've said this on other shows before, but I'm going to say it again right here, just to remind you guys, this has happened before. This is not a sudden random drill. This is not a thing that just came out of nowhere. No, this is a real thing. I've heard stories of conversations that you don't ever want to hear. I have heard stories about people who are at these clubs and these bars and these, the who's who of Hollywood. And they have this very beautiful girl, right? Very beautiful, tall, blah, 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 statuesque. And then they'll sit there and find out that that person's only 14, 15 years old. I'm not kidding. And they're hugged up on an older guy that clearly is some sort of model recruit, or is the head of some sort of agency, or is the head of some sort of movie production company, and all that. It is a real thing. And I'm not talking about no pizza. I'm talking about it's just straight up out there. And you'll see these girls because they're girls and they're holding stemware. I'm not kidding. Stemware. They're not holding the kitty cup. They're not holding the little solo red cup. No, they're holding stemware. And no, they're not drinking water. These are real things that actually happen. Man, okay. So real quick, I'm sorry for the sidebar, but we need to talk about this because this is gross. This is very gross. So there is a model. I don't know what she is. Okay. Maybe she's like a Playboy model wannabe person. Okay. Stoughton, I think. Stoughton, Courtney Stoughton or something like that. Let me just talk to you guys about this. Courtney Stoughton. Stoughton? I don't know. Stoughton, potato. You know what I'm saying, okay? Tomato. She's like a centerfold person, right? Okay? This girl, or this woman now, she was married to a guy when she was 16 years old. I'm not kidding. 16. Married. They were on a reality show, like an MTV reality show. Not kidding. MTV or like a VH1 reality show. And they made it very clear that this man was in a relationship with a person that was literally 16. And it was all part of the show. In fact, they had a reality show, I think. They did a spinoff too. Why do I know this crap? I don't know. But just roll with me, okay? And now she's like a centerfold wannabe, you know what I mean? That's how she makes her. I'm sure she's on OF or something like that. But nonetheless, when she got her claim to fame, she was 16. She was not of age, and she was marrying a grown-ass man. And that's how she got out there. And no one bat an eye. No one bat an eye about that. No one sat there and goes, wait a sec, doesn't that seem a little weird? Hold on. No, it doesn't matter if she looks super grown. It doesn't matter if she looks like an adult. She is still that age. Say what? Same thing with Aaliyah. You ain't wrong, Sandwich. Same thing with Aaliyah. These girls are all up in these parties. They're at the creme de la creme, the 1% of the 1%ers. They're chilling. They are not even of age, y'all. Chilling, holding stemware. They shouldn't even know what a wine glass is, for crying out loud. You understand? Or a martini glass. Having their cosmos out of a martini glass. Because, oh my God, I'm Samantha. It's crazy, but it's real. It's definitely real. Just saying. So let's continue on. This is a tale as old as time, y'all. So what we're seeing is nothing far-fetched, especially when they say friends are sitting there chilling and they're hanging out with them and they didn't even realize that she was not of age. I guarantee you some of them actually did know she was not of age. But I think there were some other ones that were like, well, they're telling us that she's 19, or they didn't even bat an eye to it. They didn't even ask a question because she was in the room with other people that are of age. You see what I'm saying? They don't ask the question. You want a drink? Here you go. Boom. No. Let's keep it moving. Because they're assuming that they're all of age, but they weren't. They're not. Because nobody's out here asking those questions. It's Hollywood first and foremost. Let me keep it a bean. It's Hollywood, baby. Okay. But like I said, tale as old as time. This happens a lot more than you think, guys. A whole lot more than you think. Let's move on. So he says, those who enabled this criminal activity should be charged alongside David. I agree 100%. Here's the other thing, too. I'm sorry. I hate to go off on this, but I have to go off on this. I'm sorry, guys. Here's the question I got. So when it comes to them getting criminal activity charged to David, why hasn't David been charged with anything at all, even with anything that has to do with littles? Think about that for a second. I mean, I haven't even finished the statement yet, but I'm agreeing with FS Investigates 1,000%. But why hasn't he even been hit with a charge for that? Why are they overlooking that? He should be brought in for those charges alone. It's already been confirmed that he was in a relationship with this person. He was in a relationship with this person. Why hasn't he been brought in on those charges? It's just something I have to say. But moving on, I've spoken to someone who notified Josh Marshall's camp back in 2024 that Celeste was considered a missing person. Immediately after, Celeste returned home, only to run away again. Remember what we talked about before. She ran away. She got returned, but where she got found, she was found in the Hollywood Hills. Why would she be found in the Hollywood Hills, you may ask? It's because she was in a relationship with David. And I really do think that it was puppy love. I mean, for her, she's young. It's puppy love. So she's like, you don't understand us, Ma. You don't understand us, Dad. We love each other. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean. So she's sitting here saying that stuff and continually running away because she's in love. Or at least she thinks that it's love, right? Only it's a kid, another guy, a young man talking to a girl and saying these things. And then, of course, she keeps running back into his arms. Okay, let's be real. She was found in the Hollywood Hills and returned back home. Then she ran away again, and then she was never seen from or heard from ever again with her family. Come on, do the math. It's all because she was going and running back into the arms of David. That is it, okay? So she was considered a missing person. Immediately after, she was returned home. Once Josh Marshall's camp back in 2024 found out that she was a missing person. Immediately after that, she got picked up from police and got returned home, and then she ran away back again later on. Josh, David's manager, cannot claim he wasn't aware that Celeste was an underage runaway. He can't. I agree with SF here 100%. Okay? He can't sit there and say, oh, no, I didn't know anything. I work remotely from another state. I don't have anything to do with that. What they're saying about me and in my involvement is crazy. Y'all lost your doggone minds. No, there's too much proof. There's too much paperwork showing otherwise. Real talk. There's more. Let's take a look. SF continues saying this. Since certain parties are now claiming there was no email letter sent to Josh's camp, I confirmed with the author of that email. that it was sent and does exist. I can also confirm law enforcement requested a copy of that email, and they are now in possession of it. I noticed the TikTok denial was about the letter by email. How come there was no mention of Celeste? Good question. Damn good question. How come there was no denial of knowing Celeste or knowing she was a runaway or even knowing she was underage? So many questions, love. So many questions. No, Blue Breeze, I'm not blaming her at all. Not at all. Unless you're commenting on somebody else's comment. Not on. No, not here. Not blaming her. I think she was manipulated. I really do. I really think she got manipulated. But again, very interesting question. How come there's no denial of knowing Celeste or knowing she was a runaway or knowing she was underage? Can you go on the record denying those things? If Josh will go on the record on social media with a verified account and deny all those things, then I will happily retract my statement and wait for confirmation from law enforcement. Oh, diggity damn. Okay. Shots mother loving fired. Okay? Period. Shots mother loving fired. Just so you all know. Now, here's the thing. What say you on this so far? There's so much that we still need to break down and talk about. But one thing's for sure. SF Investigates is making a strong statement here. A solid statement. In these text messages from the manager, in these messages here, he's denying a lot of things, but he does not even acknowledge about Celeste. That's true. He doesn't, they say, oh, this is a tragic situation and all that, but he doesn't say anything about like even knowing the girl. Doesn't say anything about, yeah, I knew that they were together and I thought she was of age. He could easily have answered like that. He could have said that too. He could have easily said, yeah, I didn't know. I thought she was of age. I thought they were the same age. He could literally use that excuse. You realize that? But no, he's out here trying to find excuses to cover his own tracks so he doesn't look like he's a monster as well. Well, here's the problem. Your name is on the lease to the house. You have a car that allegedly is under your name that was parked in the driveway or in the garage of this multi-million-dollar mansion that you were flipping the bill on for your client. So clearly you had a relationship at least close enough for you to pay for your client's room and board, for crying out loud. It still just does not make any sense with this statement. He clearly knows something is up, and now he's trying to walk it back as quickly as he can because he's scared. Yes, I said it. The man be dumb scared. Okay? He's scared. He also has kids, and he also is married. That has been confirmed. Okay? He's married. He has kids. But at the same time, doesn't mean that he hasn't been over at that house chilling. You mean to tell me he's not flying out there, staying out there for a couple weeks, staying in the apartment, or not in the apartment, I'm sorry, staying at that mansion for a couple weeks at a time? Okay? I'm sure that he has a room in that mansion that is literally his room that he uses when he goes into LA. You mean to tell me that he does all his work from whatever state he's coming from, that he lives in remotely? Nah. You tell me you're not going into LA to make business moves, to shake hands, press flesh, and make those deals in person? You tell me all of your career was built and cultivated solely through the internets? Remotely at your home, wherever that home is? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. You mean to tell me that red or orange Tesla is just there collecting dust for fun? Or is there another body in that frunk of that car too? I'm just asking questions. You mean to tell me that that Tesla that's in that garage isn't your mode of transportation when you come into LA for business deals? Just because you're not staying in that 24/7 does not mean that you're not staying in that place when it's convenient. It's $20,000 a month, for crying out loud. That's a lot of quiche. You mean to tell me you're just going to give it to some young artist and just go have at it? Have fun, kiddo. It's yours. Here are the keys. Enjoy. No. You're going, hey, no, bro. I'm coming back. That room right there, the big room. Okay. I know apparently you can't say master bedroom anymore, but you know, the master bedroom, that big old boy with the walk out to the pool. Yeah, that be mine, bro. So no one touched that room. Everything else is yours, but that room's off limits. You feel me? And when I come back into town, I'm here. All right. But when I'm gone, it's yours. All right. Because I got to get back to the kids and the family and all that stuff. But I got to come in here for work. You really mean to tell me he's just going to give the keys to a multi-million-dollar mansion to a kid who can't even take care of his own $104,000 Tesla? Let's be real, y'all. Come on now. Have you seen the car? Have you seen what that car looks like? Don't worry. We're going to be pulling it up and taking a look at that too, because we got to talk about my theory here in just a little bit. But you really mean to tell me you're going to let a guy who takes care of his really nice car, $104,000 Model X or something like that, Tesla, like that, you're going to let him live in that house? You really think he's going to treat that house better than he treated his own $104,000 car? I'm just saying. So let's get into this. And of course, you know, there's a theory that maybe, you know, the manager had something to do with it. This is like a new generation of Clue, right? Who did it? Was it the manager? Was it the crazy, eccentric recording artist? Was it the best friend? Was it Gus? And whatever happened to Gus? Right? It's happened like that. Right? Did she lose her life in the candelabra? Or sorry, in the chambers with the candelabra? What actually happened here? You know what I mean? That's kind of where we're at right now. It's Clue. It's the emo version of Clue, okay? It's the black emo version of Clue. I'm sorry, but it really is. 'Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. We got to talk about this because I like when I don't sound crazy, because it's not like I come out with theories a lot. Okay. Yeah, he's emo. He's like an emo recording artist. He's not R&B. He ain't rap. And that's what's messed up, because just because he's black, everyone's like, yeah, he R&B. No, he's not. He's emo. He's pop music. How's that? But he is not R&B and he is not rap. Okay? Not once, I listened to some of his music. Not once did I hear him go, yo, didn't hear none of that. Okay? None of that. So he is not R&B. He is not rap. He emo as F. And that's okay. We need to branch out and do more music. Just don't people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Allegedly. But here's the thing. He's emo. That's how I see it. Okay? We're going to talk about, there's so much to talk about. There's so much going on. All right. So we got to talk about this other thing. this other revelation that just happened. Okay. Yes, Nicole B. Over again. You know what I mean? Don't make me change my mind, you know? But anyway, we got to talk about this theory, okay? Or this statement that just came out by the LAPD. And this makes me feel that my theory could very well be right. Don't worry. We're going to talk about it here in a second. Take a look at this. LAPD now says she was likely gone for several weeks before she was found in the Tesla. Yes, I am not crazy. Some of you are like, stop spreading lies. I'm like, where am I spreading lies? I just said, all I said is I have a theory that maybe we're going to talk about that in a second. But some of y'all got in your fifis because I get it. Everyone's so set in their ways. This is kind of like the Karen Reed case. You know what I mean? She was drunk. She did it. You know what I mean? Yeah, she was drunk, but she didn't do it. The police did it. You know what I mean? Everyone gets mad when you throw out your theory. But I literally put that theory out and people are like, stop spreading lies. How dare you spread lies? I'm like, I'm not spreading lies. It's a theory. I even said multiple times throughout the entire video, this is just a theory. This is just a theory. Hold on. Don't at me. Don't get mad at me. It's just a theory. And still people going, stop spreading lies. How dare you? Could my theory be possibly correct? We're going to talk about my theory because I know some of you are like, wait, Pascal, wait. Where's the theory? I missed that. Where I didn't get that. I'm not ready for this pop quiz. I didn't get it. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it here in a second, okay? You're going to get all the answers here very, very soon. So sit tight. Let's talk about this here. LAPD comes out with this information. This is Nuck and Futz. All right. They say she was likely gone for several weeks before she was found in David's Tesla trunk. Let's go into this. All right. LAPD believes that her body, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, okay, 14-year-old girl. She's 14, by the way. She's not 15. She's 14. She definitely lost her life way before her 15th birthday. Her 15th birthday happened the day after her body was found. Do you understand that? She ain't 15. She's 14. Her body stopped producing. Her body stopped growing at 14 years old because somebody did something to her. Okay? Period. Gone at 14. Moving on. She was found inside the Tesla belonging to David. She had been in the car. They're now saying she had been in the car for several weeks before it was discovered. Speaking with people, LAPD captain and commanding officer Williams said that while many questions remain about the demise of Rivas Hernandez, whose body was found inside the car, which we already said 15 times ago, okay, on September 8th, a day before her birthday, 15th birthday, they say, quote unquote, we know for sure that Celeste Rivas Hernandez passed away and someone placed her remains in the front trunk, also called the frunk area of David Burke's Tesla. That's also David Burke's, also David's government name. His full name is David Burke, okay? Also known as David with a 4 and without the I, all right? We know that the Tesla had been parked at that location from which it was towed from for several weeks. So it's very likely Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been gone for several weeks prior to her body being discovered. This is what the officer said. LAPD, or Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, has not determined a cause or manner of her demise, okay? So we don't know for sure if anyone has any criminal culpability for her demise beyond the concealment of her dead body. Let me just talk about this really quick. First and foremost, they're now confirming that she had been gone for several weeks. So, which is weird. And we got a couple things we got to talk about here. Number one. Remember the video where everybody's saying, yo, that's her in the VIP section while he's performing in Maryland. Now, police are saying she was gone for several weeks. So there's no way that is her. unless and only unless that is Celeste number 2. Or another girl who just looked remotely like her in the VIP section standing next to her brother, which is weird if you really think about it. Or standing next to his brother, I'm sorry. Which is weird if you really think about it. Think about that for a second. Put that in your pipe and smoke on it. Put that bee in your bonnet. Let it soak all the way down to your plums. Everybody and their mama was going crazy about, oh, snap, there's that girl up there in the balcony, VIP, right? Everybody's tripping about it. Even I was. I was like, oh, my word. Yeah, I did say, oh, my word. That's her on the 24th of August. So she may have been only gone for a few days, murked for a few days. When in actuality, that is not right. So hear me out. Hear me out. 2 different things. We're going to come back to this. We got to ride. We got to off-road like that Tesla did. We got to off-road for a second here. Ride with me for a second, okay? Here's some theories. I've been thinking about doing this as like one big, I haven't done any of these episodes in a very long time, but the what they do in the dark, that series I was trying to get off the ground. I'm thinking about doing this on David. Hear me out. Here's another theory. This is going to sound crazy, okay? But just ride with me, and I know you will, because you all are good people. Y'all beautiful people. I love you guys. You look beautiful. Here's the thing. Here's my theory. Hear me out. This man, David, my theories are not that crazy. Have you met Candace Owens? Come on. My theories are not that crazy, Nicole B. Hear me out. Okay. Crazy theory. We already know about 2 Celestes. We have Celeste Herrera, and then we have now discovered in the frunk of the Tesla, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, right? May she rest in peace. But here's my theory. If you go and check out, I took the weekend to look at a bunch of his stuff, bunch of his music videos and all that. And I really did not want to give him any clicks or views. But I took some time to take a look at some of his music videos, a bunch of his content, Itami, all that stuff, which is insane stuff. Cartoons, like anime cartoons, stuff like that. I want to point something out. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the content that he would make would always have somebody that resembled Celeste, had an uncanny likeness to Celeste. So hear me out with this. What if he grew an absolute infatuation / obsession with any likes of Celeste Rivas? Anyone that looked a lot like Celeste, anyone that had the name Celeste. If you were a girl, brown, with curlyish black hair that looked remotely like her, obsessed. So hear me out. When we see the video, and let me see if I can find it. I think I have something like a photo. Yep, I do. So when we see the photos, and this is a terrible, terrible grainy photo because it's being zoomed in, but I want you guys to see this. And I know I'm going off the rails here, guys. I'm going off the rails. Okay, respectfully, I'm going off the rails. All right. He obviously had an obsession with Celeste. Okay. You look at his music videos, there are girls in his music video that look a lot like her. You look at his anime, where there's one where, he's attacking and he's fighting and he's using swords and stuff. And then this girl that's standing next to him that clearly he's in love with in the anime looks a lot like her. And then he chops off her arm in the anime and then, throws a sword and it, and it pokes her, you know what I mean? But anyway, and it looks a lot like Celeste. Okay. What if this girl, clearly it's not Celeste. Now that's been confirmed by LAPD. This is not Celeste. Looks a lot like her. She's in the VIP section. What if he became fixated with this girl because she resembled his lost love? There's clearly an obsession with Celeste. So any girl that looked remotely like Celeste, he's obsessed with them. Okay? Think about it. He's getting super obsessed. That could be the stand-in. That could be Celeste Herrera, or that could be another girl that he saw at the event and he's getting his usher on. You remind me of a girl that I once knew. You know what I'm saying? An obsession. I already know. I already know. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy, okay? But I'm telling you right now, there's something here that's off. So just ride with me for a second. These are just theories. This is just speculation. Yeah, I kind of have it's falling off, okay? It's falling off. It's not secured tight, but yes, I am rocking the tinfoil hat for a second, okay? I know when I spin off the planet. So other people don't know, Candace Owens, but other people don't know when they're spinning off the planet. I know when I'm spinning off the planet. I just tether myself to something nice and secure on Earth so I can keep reeling myself back in, all right? But hear me out on this. I think he had an obsession with any girl that looked like Celeste, and it just seemed to be so strange that Celeste Herrera, her name was Celeste and looked a lot like Celeste. So obsession ensued. Any girl that resembled remotely like her, he became obsessed. That's one thing. Okay? Just ride with me here for a second, okay? We are now hearing that her body was in that car. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. In that car. And she had been gone for several weeks. So this is not even like, oh, when her body was found, she had lost her life on the 24th, okay? That she lost her life on the 24th of August. Oh, no. Au contraire, mon frère. She lost her life possibly in July. Mind you, there are reports saying that she stopped contacting family and friends in July, as far back as July. So if she had been in that car, let's just say she was in that car for several weeks, that would mean that she was gone way before the start of August. He has an obsession with this girl. He has an obsession with anybody who looks like Celeste. Oh, he definitely has a type. Oh, for sure. Look at all the music videos. Look at all the freaking anime. Look at all that crap. Absolute obsession. So hear me out. Here's the theory, because I've already said it before, and I do have information to back it up a tiny bit. It's just a statement. SF Investigates said something on Ashley Banfield, the same show that, yours truly was on. No big deal. I'm a superstar. Moving on, though. He said something in the chat that we're going to listen to between him and Ashley Banfield that I was like, it sparked this theory. So let me pull up this photo real quick. There's a couple things I want to show you. Let's just show you guys these photos right quick. I think these are important because this is all confirming. This is all backing up my theories. Okay. Take a look at this car. First off, he was not taking good care of his $104,000 car. Okay. He's young. He's dumb. I get it. We're all young and do things. But like I said, he was not taking very good care of this car. This car was left on the side of the road. Yes, it's been sitting there covered in soot and all that stuff, but look at all the damage on this car. Take a look at all this damage right over here. Some serious damage. Okay. Now it could just be from driving, parking in the city, blah, blah, blah. Right. I've seen worse cars. I've seen worse. But again, not taking very good care of this car. Now, obviously, she was found in this trunk, the one that we're looking at right here. I know you guys can't see it, but if you go over to YouTube, you'll be able to see it yourself over there. It's called The Pascal Show. We're live over there. Okay. But as you can see right here, this is the trunk where she was found. Okay, tragically found. Here it is. SF Investigates says in the interview or the conversation that he had with Ashley Banfield, they go into great detail about the car and how covered in soot it is and how messed up it looks. And he says very quickly, he just randomly says this, but he says, it almost looks like, because there's dents and all that stuff, he says, it almost looks like this car went off-road. And no, I don't think he means off-road like it just drove off the side of the road one time. No, this went to a terrain that maybe this car is not equipped for. Meaning that maybe, just maybe, this girl's remains were buried somewhere else and then dug up. Yes. Time out now. Time out. Time out. Hear me out. Okay. Let me just say this really quick. And this is where it gets a little tinfoil hattish. Okay. Calling it tinfoil Tiffany Haddish. But here it is. I think because she had been gone for so long, I think that something happened and he took this car, maybe not put her in the front at first, took her remains and put her out somewhere, drove off somewhere because this car looks jacked up, right? Drove off somewhere and buried her. Let's be real. It's LA. It's Cali, baby. There's all kinds of desert out there. Desert, dirt, desert, and desert. You could literally get somebody lost out there. But I truly think he took her somewhere, off-road, somewhere, buried her. Then the memory still remained. The guilt stayed with him. Because this is a guy that's very spiritual. He's got these theories. Okay, he definitely has his own bouts with mental health issues as well. He's got an alter ego. I think that he believes something much bigger, and I think he believes that there are energies out here in this world. And this energy that he just allegedly, let's just say, took or unjustifiably buried out in the middle of anywhere in the wilderness, her ghost was lingering, aka the guilt was eating away at him. So he went out there, dug her back up, put her in the frunk of this Tesla, and then was trying to figure out how to move her somewhere else, but then maybe got busy. Tour dates, etc. Didn't know what to do with her remains, but he felt not right leaving her out in the dirt, out in the wilderness or in the desert, wherever he ended up putting her. You got to remember, she also was wrapped in plastic. Why would she be wrapped in plastic? And it's not like she lost her life due to some type of substance, and while she was ODing, wrapped herself in plastic and put herself in the front trunk of this Tesla. Hell to the no. Hell no. Somebody put her there. Somebody wrapped her in plastic, took her somewhere else, I believe. And then she was dug up and put in this car. Now, one thing is for sure, LAPD has not confirmed anything about dirt being found on the plastic or anything like that. We have not heard anything about that at all. Okay. But one thing's for sure. What are the chances of her losing her life? Since we now have several weeks now where she's been either locked up in that trunk or somewhere else. What are the chances of somebody actually going, I got to get rid of her. I got to hide her. And they hid her. And then they dug her up because of his guilty conscience or something of that sort and did this. Here's the other theory I do have. And I know this sounds crazy. But it's another theory nonetheless. So just rock with me. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Of course, shameless plug. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it, crush it, crush it. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're keeping an eye on this, okay? And then some, okay? Shoot, we got so much to talk about. Even beyond this case. But what if he did this to out himself? What if he actually dug up the body? Let's just say the body was actually put somewhere else, buried. He dug it back up, put the remains in this trunk, and saying, eventually I'll get caught. I have to out myself. I can't live with the thought of Celeste in my mind. I can't. She is literally everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I see her. I can't do this anymore. So he leaves the body in the trunk in hopes that it will be exposed eventually. And it does get exposed. Think about that for a second. I know that might be reaching. But it's a thought. It's a theory. It's a thought. It's a theory. I'm exercising all the possibilities. Because a part of this doesn't, like dry snitching on himself. Exactly, soybean. Yeah. Think about that for a second. Like I said, this is just theories. Okay. Speculation warning. Actually, I think I do have a banner for that. Don't I have that? Yeah. Let me just put that up. Speculation warning. These are all just theories. Okay. This is not backed by anything. This is just me thinking about this, discussing it with friends, discussing it with family, seeing all the stuff that's been going on all online, okay, and people putting out their speculations and all that, all right? But I truly think that she was not in that car the entire time. I think that her body was moved and was put in here. Now, police still have to do their thing, and that is something, like I said, it's just speculation. I have no proof of that, okay? I have no proof of that, but I truly think one thing is for sure. This man had an absolute obsession with Celeste Rivas. And any person that looked like Celeste, he was all about it. Absolutely all about it. So again, who's that girl in the VIP section? God only knows. It could be Celeste number 2. And I know that's wild, but it could be Celeste number 2. Again, my theory, I think her body was somewhere else. I truly think her body was somewhere else before it was put into this car. Okay? That's what I truly think. And now, what we're hearing from LAPD makes me feel a little bit more solidified on my theory. Because it would make no sense that she would be, hear me out, she would be sitting there in this car in the hot summer, July, August, summer sun, and there's no complaints of smell? None whatsoever? Think about that for a second. Think about the timeline. Thank you, Tanya. She's like, makes sense. And honestly, I can see that. Thank you. Think about this for a second. She loses her life. Someone's trying to cover up something. Either she was, somebody deleted her or something bad happened to her and they were scared. And so they covered up the unaliving or the fact that she passed away, right? If they put her in that trunk or that frunk and she had been in there for several weeks, wouldn't she have been smelling? Wouldn't she be permeating some sort of stench from out of that frunk? way before they complained about a smell at the tow yard? I'm just saying, let me cook. Think about it. Let me cook, baby. You know, for a fact, everybody would have been like, you mean to tell me when the police walked up, which was several weeks later? Remember when they went up, it was near the end of August, and the car was finally towed on the 5th of September. And then that's when they said, woo, something really bad is smelling over here. And that's when they opened up the frunk, finding her in the car. Am I right or am I right? So again, let's go. Let's go here. You mean to tell me that she wasn't permeating some sort of smell for several weeks? They came back multiple times. They marked things. They did all the ticketed, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't smell anything? Nothing at all? She would have been smelling. Do you understand that? Her remains would have been smelling. They would have walked up and, oh my God, what is that? What is that? The reason why is that because her body was somewhere else. Yes, I said it. Her body was somewhere else, baby. And then it was put in there. Now, here's the other thing too, okay? Here's the other thing. Maybe she didn't even get buried. Maybe that theory is completely wrong. Maybe she was stashed somewhere inside the house or even buried in the backyard kind of thing. Anything's possible. Maybe the car never moved from that particular parking spot. Let's just rock. Let's just rap about that for a second, right? But the remains still got moved. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's no way on God's green earth that body was not smelling after the first week of being in that hot black on black Tesla in the hottest days and months of the summer. Are you out your damn mind? The police would have walked up to that place and would have smelled something instantly. And there would have been a crime scene and crime tape and all that stuff right here. They wouldn't have moved anywhere. It didn't happen until later. That's because she was somewhere else. I'm just letting that sink in for a second, guys. This is my theory, okay? Jack Williams just said, he said, please read my message. All right, I'm reading it, bro. See, this is how live it is, mother lovers, okay? Is anyone thinking about how she was found the day before or after her birthday? Is that just a coincidence or was someone planning this to happen? You know, that's a good question. I do not know. But I do think that's a good question. It is interesting that the day before her birthday, her body is found or discovered. That's when her body is discovered. That's weird. Her 15th birthday was the day after she was found. That's nuck and fuds. Is that a coinky dink? I do not know. But what I do know is that the math that I have in my mind is most definitely mathing. Yes, I've gone off the rails a little bit in certain theories, and those theories could be absolutely 110% wrong. The original thought could be wrong, but it doesn't make sense that her body would be in that car and not have some sort of smell after a week or two of being in that car. It just doesn't make sense. So I said my piece. Like I said, that, you know, when you do a short, because I did a short, and everyone's like, oh, you know, stop spreading lies. I'm like, I'm not spreading any lies. I'm just asking questions, just like we all are. And here's my theory. Because when you have a car that looks like this, that caked up, baby. Shout out to SF Investigates for the footage and for the photos. But look at that. That is caked up, baby. And look at that big ass dent in the back. You don't give a damn about your car? What the hell? Right? But look at this. In all of its glory. You mean to tell me he collected dust that quickly in just maybe a week? No, he did not. That means that car has been sitting there for a very long time. And then finally somebody said, this is an eyesore. Look how nasty it is. It hasn't been to the car wash in a minute. It looks like trash, blah, blah, blah. Whose car is this? We're in the Hollywood Hills. This goes against our HOA. Please wash your car, right? That's when the police come over. But remember, no reports of a foul stench. That makes no sense. Again, if she was wrapped up in plastic and put inside that car, there would have been a smell for sure. I mean, yeah, could she have been frozen? Could she have been put in a freezer? That is possible too. That is very possible. And then maybe when she, oh, good God, but the heat and all that, thawing, especially with the heat being that intense. Remember, we're talking about LA. We're not talking about, I don't know, Maine. We're talking about LA. And we're talking about summertime in LA. It's unforgivable. So again, yeah, I was going to say, Nicole, you ain't wrong. It would be like a day, maybe a day or two, probably not a day or two, probably half a day. You're in a black on black on black Tesla. That thawing is going to go fast. I hate to say it, but you're cooking in that car. Direct sun. This is not like they put this car under the shade or the inside a climate controlled garage, let's just say. This was out there in these streets. Zero complaints of smell until she got moved to that towing yard, or until the car got moved to the towing yard. It's just interesting, guys. Like I said, this is what spawned the idea. This is what spawned the thought. So I'm going to play this for you guys. And, you know, it's a great conversation. Let's be real. This is a very good conversation. You're not going to be able to hear this. Okay. And I'm only going to play a chunk of this because we're not going to play the whole doggone thing. But nonetheless, this is very, very strange. To me, this is very, 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 very strange. Let me see. Yeah, it happens pretty early on in the conversation. But SF said it, and it just in my mind, I was like, wait a second, he ain't wrong. Something ain't right. Did he off-road this mug? Maybe he did. Okay. Shay's World just said, Pascal, I wonder if you're right, but instead of buried, she could have been in the freezer. Yeah, we just discussed that, but yes, she could have been put. I mean, I know that sounds insane, and I know some people don't want to think that is like, no, she was found in the Tesla. That's all that it was. She was found in the Tesla, but maybe she wasn't. If she was gone for several weeks, there's so much that could have happened. She could have been moved multiple times, guys. Multiple times. And they just didn't know where to put her. They just didn't know where to put her. You know? But let's take a listen to this. All right. If you want to hear this, go over to my YouTube channel. Okay. TikTok. Okay. Let's rock and roll. We're only going to play a small chunk of this. So let's rock and roll.
An officer came by the very next day and left a ticket on the window. A second ticket was issued September 3rd. And the car was finally towed September 5th, 3 days before it became a key piece of evidence in what's now being confirmed as a homicide.
Let me just say this again. And I'm going to roll that again. All right, we're going to look at it. August 27th, a police officer went up there. No sign, no conversation, no mention of foul stench. That was on August 27th. Now, somebody with a calendar, please pull this up for me, okay? Between the time of August 27th and September 3rd, okay? How many days is that specifically? Somebody with a calendar, let me know the days. How many days? Okay? and I'll wait for it. August 27th. Actually, you know what? Add 2 more days on top of it. August 5th is when the car was actually taken. So it was like 9 days, because some of y'all are saying it's a week. So it's 1 week on the 3rd of September. And then if you add 2 more days, which is the day that the car was actually towed, it would be 9 days. Thank you so much. Thank you. So for 9 days, there was no complaints or no mention of smell. That would mean, at least in my personal opinion, that she had been in there, like she may have been moved in there kind of recently. He did a performance August 24th in Maryland. And in fact, we're going to look at something here. Actually, you know what? Before we go back to that, hold on. We got to do some math here. I'm sorry, guys. I appreciate all y'all so very much. But Ashley Banfield did pull this up too. She gave a little bit of a timeline. And I think it's done in the beginning of this. Did she do that here? No, she did not. Hold on. Hold on. Bop, bop, bop. Hold on, guys. Doing a little bit of, where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay. Hold on. There's a timeline that Ashley Banfield put up during this show, and I just need to scroll through and find it. Is it right about, where the heck is it? Is it here? Hold on, guys. It's probably right after this interview. Okay, yep. We're coming up to it. There. Whoops. Here it is. Boom. There it is. Okay. We got it right here. Okay. His off days. So let's just say that he comes back home sometime in August. July 31st, like he went out of town, like he went on tour. July 31st, he could have come back home. The 3rd, 4th, 7th, 10th, 11th, 14th, 18th, 21st, 25th. We'll just stop right there. These are all days that he had off from his tour. He is flying private jets and all that stuff. Now, one thing is for sure. We got to find out if he chartered a flight, a private jet from anywhere back to LA. He also, you're right. He also had the 3rd and 4th back to back off. He also had, I mean, like I said, he had these days off. So he could literally go down. He could fly out, do something, fly right back out the next morning to go perform somewhere else. But he had time. You're flying private jets. You can do all kinds of stuff. The reason why I stopped at the 25th is because the 27th is when the car is first discovered, on the side of the road. The reason why I stopped at the 25th is because one thing's for sure. The car is covered in soot. So there needs to be a little bit of time for soot to be put onto the car. Remember the photos that we saw. The glass is covered in pollen and dirt. It's been sitting there for a while. So we can go all the way back as far as like stopping at maybe the 14th or 18th. But no matter what, they say it's been sitting there for several weeks. So what are the chances of him actually doing her, like having her, she lost her life in, say, July? Like I said, I think she lost her life in July. Not early July, but sometime in July. Last time she spoke to family, allegedly, was in July. That's the last time they heard from her. So somewhere in July, something bad happened. Okay. Somebody went, put her remains in this car, the same car that was sitting there chilling. But the car needs some time to collect dust. Remember that. Remember all that. So you never know. Maybe he never flew back. Maybe as soon as he went off on tour, he was on tour. And that's why the car just sat there collecting dust. Quite possible, right? But I digress. Something weird is going on, for sure. And I will say, David definitely needs to make a statement soon. At least I hope he will, because he has a lot of explaining. He needs to explain a lot. This is a very bad look for him. And the fact that we haven't heard anything from him is pretty insane to me. Now, let me get this SF Investigates interview back up here again. Because again, like I said, excuse me, there is something that I want to share in here. The reason why this whole conversation popped in my brain in the first place. Let's take a listen.
And on the Tesla's windshield to the end of the line at the impound lot. And he learned that fed up neighbors called police about this car on August the 26th. An officer came by the very next day and left a ticket on the window. A second ticket was issued September 3rd. And the car was finally towed September 5th, 3 days before it became a key piece of evidence in what's now being confirmed as a homicide. Steve Fisher is the man behind that pro bono detective work, and he joins me now live. Steve, thanks so much for being on tonight. Tell me about the tow report that you were able to obtain and some of the information that you learned from the report.
So, it was first called in by a neighbor on the 26th. And the only note that was on it was when they asked for any identifying information besides the license plate, they noted that there was a large dent in the back. And, I was curious that there wasn't an odor mentioned. Now, that doesn't absolutely mean that in the conversation with the agent, they didn't mention that and it just didn't get reported. But, in LA, a traffic officer has to come out at least 3 times before they can tow it on 3 different days. They have to chalk the tires, make sure it hasn't moved, because it is legal to park on that street. So, as far as what was gathered from that, it was nothing regarding the smell or anything, but for it to get towed from that area, considering there is no parking restrictions, it had to be there quite a while, I think.
Well, let's talk about that, because not only did you get your hands on the towing report with all the information it yielded, but you also knocked on some doors and you found some of the neighbors who indeed knew about that car and knew how long it had been there. What did they tell you?
I talked to someone that, nobody wanted to be on the record, but they said that they believe they're certain the car was there more than a month. There was somebody else that said that the car had moved around a couple different times, but that's going back as far as May. It had been moving around. And, from those photos are actually, they believe they're certain the car was there more than a month.
You heard that right? They believe that car was sitting there for more than a month. More than a month, y'all. And no stench? Seems a bit weird. Then the stench didn't come out until after it was moved. Seems a little bit weird, right?
Somebody else had said that the car had moved around a couple different times, but that's going back as far as May. It had been moving around. And
car wasn't moving, it was moving around as far back as May. Like I said, I think she lost her life way beyond August. I think she lost her life somewhere in July. Now, was she in that car the entire time? No. Nah, I really don't. Now, I don't know about the frunk of this Tesla. I don't know if they have like certain, things that you can do with the frunk. Okay. Like if the frunk is like a cooler or something like that. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. But what I do know is that I think that this girl lost her life in July, but I do not think that she was in that car the entire time. That's truly what I think. And Classic One just said something, and I have to say this because this is important, okay? If you're not getting notification bells, notifications, hit that notification bell, like turn it off, turn it back on. Okay, so whenever I go live, whenever I upload, set it to all. So because there's a lot going on, a little bit later on this evening, or a little bit later on this it'll be early evening. I'm maybe back on to talk about some more stuff that has to do with CK. Okay, yeah, because Candace Owens is dropping some crazy receipts apparently today. So we are going to be talking about that for show tonight. Okay. And yes, Ava, I saw the Tesla, the TMZ update. I'm going to be looking at that here in just a minute. So again, guys, shameless plug, but please, okay, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're hitting that like button down below. Okay. I see a bunch of y'all in here, and it really means a lot that you guys are all in here. Let's get it. Whoa, you guys aren't even hitting the like. Oh my God, it's diabolical. What? Hit the like. Let's get it to 1K. I see a bunch of y'all in here. Okay. And if you're watching on the TikTok, hit that reaction button. I got a bunch of, like a roses thing up on the top. If you could show some love, that'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay. But let's continue. Oh my God. Get those likes up, please. And thank you. Okay. Ay. Okay. Let's continue on.
From those photos actually were embedded with the ticket that was taken. So when they provided the ticket on the 3rd, they give images, in case it goes to court and they can back it up. They're really high res images. I could really zoom into them. And I mean, that dirt is caked on that car. So I think that car got dumped a lot earlier than a lot of us think.
Thank you. I agree with this man so much. Okay. I agree with this man so much on this case. Okay. I agree with him so much. There's no way that the windshield, for example, would not have had, the windshield wiper go, at least a couple times just to clear up the soot that's on the windshield. Okay. I get it. Some people don't give a damn about washing their cars. All right. But when it comes to the windshield, you need to be able to see through the windshield and the back window, right? Even the rear window, you need to be able to see through. If it's covered in soot, how are you going to operate the car? So clearly it's been sitting there for a minute, right? It's clearly been sitting there for a minute. But also at the same time, though, if she had been sitting in that car for that long, there would have been smell. There would have been a stench, guys. There would have been. So, like I said, in that heat, in that summer heat, no. I think she was placed in there much later. And I think she was placed in there, let's just say maybe a week, okay, before the car was actually towed. Even so, maybe a week before it was even acknowledged that the car needed to be towed by police. You see what I'm saying? But I digress. Let's continue on.
You say a month, but then it's also interesting. You see the police came back 3 different times and chalked the tires. What's the protocol for them? Why didn't they tow it
Chalking
the first
the tires.
day they were called?
So they're not allowed to tow it unless it's documented that it has not moved in 72 hours. So now when they came out on the 26th, or they got called on the 26th, they came out first on the 27th. That happened to be Labor Day weekend. So, it wasn't until the 3rd, until Labor Day was over, they came out the second time. But by ordinance here in LA County, and I do very familiar with this because I live in the area, you have to move within 72 hours. If it's called in as abandoned, it has to also have other factors, such as it appears to be abandoned. If this car was clean, it wouldn't have been towed.
See? And like I said, I guess we're watching and listening to this whole thing because it's the last part. I thought it was earlier in the conversation, but he says something later on that sparked the whole yeah, maybe they were off-roading, right? Like maybe they went somewhere where there's dirt and soot. But here's the other thing too. Look, if it was clean, the car wouldn't have been messed with. But somebody was obviously walking by, or, people were around and seeing that this was a car covered in soot that hadn't even been moved at all. And what happened? They called it up. Police showed up, started ticketing it. And then they said, okay, no one's moving it, so it's time to let it go. It's time to go and get it towed. You really think that this guy who has this guy who's living in a $20,000 a month mansion rental with copious amounts of space to park this car in that garage, you don't think he would have parked that car in the garage, closed the garage, and be done so he can go on tour? Hell yeah, he would have. But he didn't. Either he was set up or he did this whole thing himself.
Yeah. The fact that, the first call came in and 8 days later it was towed. Each time they came out and established the 72-hour rule and had those three that they have to have. Did the neighbors that you talked to say anything else about, other than, yeah, it's been here for about a month? Did anybody say it smelled?
Not that I talked to. I know that I've seen reports that somebody did, but not that I talked to. However, the street that it's on, and I don't know if this was done on purpose or not, but the street, Bluebird, is just this little street with about 6 houses on it. It kind of makes a semicircle that wraps from one end of Doheny and meets back up.
That's
to Doheny.
A good question too.
So it's not a super traveled street. Now, Doheny is, so you drive by it, but where it was is kind of like a strategic area where there's only, see that road right there wraps around to the right, and then it connects again to the main road. So there's not too many people that will walk by it. And these hedges on this house are so high that it really takes out people walking on the other side of the vehicle. So I don't know if it was actually done strategically, but if you're going to leave it somewhere else, it's as good a place to leave it as any.
Thank you for.
Oh, dang. I thought it was in here. That drives me crazy. I thought it was in here. That drives me crazy. But the other question is, who called it in, right? Who's the one who called in to the police saying, hey, this eyesore of a Tesla is right here and it needs to go, right? Who said that?
September 3rd.
Hold on.
And the car was finally towed September 5th.
The last place people go is there's a...
It's unbelievable. It almost makes you wonder.
Hold
just
on.
A parked car that's getting a ticket and getting towed. It's a 2 times and chalk the tires. What?
72 hours. So now when they came out on the 26th, or they got called, caked on that car. So
that's going to drive me crazy.
I think that car got dumped a lot earlier than a lot of us think. Curious that there wasn't an odor mentioned. Now that doesn't absolutely mean that in the conversation,
sorry guys, checking
with
something.
The agent, they didn't mention that and it just didn't get reported. But in LA, a traffic officer has to come out at least 3 times before they can tow it.
Hold on, guys. This is aggravating me because he said verbatim, and it's probably in the full show, but he said verbatim that maybe maybe somebody off-roaded. Maybe it was it looked like somebody may have off-roaded. You might just have to take my word for it. It's in the full show.
It is a private investigator who specializes in missing.
And the only note that was on it was when they asked for an
car was that somebody thought a dead animal was nearby.
Yeah, and I'll bet you now, in hindsight, they might, but I think that
because they're.
And it does not look damaged there. So damage.
Here it is.
So I don't know what happened to this car because I've seen, for instance, I found a Google Maps image of it happening parked in front of the house, right? The street view, and it does not look damaged there. So I don't know when this happened or how it happened, but it almost looks like it's been off road.
Boom! There it is. Thank thank God they put up the full episodes, okay? Because I'm about to say, I'm not crazy. I heard him say verbatim, and I was like, wait a second. What if it did go off-road? And that's when the brain started going. Okay, so again, he even said, maybe it off-roaded. Maybe it went off-road. Blammo. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? The wig got blown back, you know what I mean? I don't know why wig got blown back, turned into blig, but yeah, blig. You know what I mean? I was like, holy snap. Oh, whoa, what if that was the case? And again, I'm sitting there saying, hey, there's no way then that she lost her life on, like, say, the 24th or the 25th. There's no way. They're saying that that's not her in the background, right? That's not her in the VIP section because she's already gone. So either a very bad accident happened and somebody covered it up, or he raised his hands and took this girl's life, and then, or someone took her life, and then, of course, is trying to frame him with this. But let's continue because there's more. I got a message here too. Let me check this really quick. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Hold on.
So, I'll tell you guys a story. I had a friend who.
Hold on. We're going to look at that too here in a second. All right. Because like I said, this is one of the wildest cases we have covered on this show in a very, very long time. And we're keeping an eye on this. So like I said, I can't help but keep on saying, please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure you're following. Please make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that notification bell, because there's a lot of cases that are happening, like brewing all at the same time. And we're just spinning plates all at the same time. Okay. Doing the best we can to cover all of this. Okay. So again, pretty crazy stuff, but we got to get into more. All right. So TMZ just put out a new article, and it says this. I've never seen this. I'm just looking at this for the very first time too. They're saying David could have been notified about open Tesla trunk, missing kid. Okay, we already know about her being found in his car. So they're now saying, oh my gosh, yeah, he's cooked. He's absolutely cooked. And I still do not know why he is still out here, y'all, breathing in this freedom air. I don't understand it. I still don't understand it. Just on the fact that he was talking to a little alone should have got him locked up. He should have already been locked up, y'all. I'm sorry. There's too much confirmation of his relationship with her, period. That should have already brought his ass in, and they still didn't bring his ass in. And I don't know why the police are like, well, we're still trying to make sure that we have everything that we need before we continue to apprehend this possible individual. Like, come on, y'all. Come on. He should have already been locked up. But let's continue. Let's take a look at this. So they're saying David has not been named as a suspect. Still, he's still not a suspect. It makes no sense. But many are wondering how her body ended up in his trunk. Yes, I already have my crazy theory. What's your crazy theory? Comment down below or comment in the family chat. Especially since the Tesla he drives can send a notification about being opened directly to his mother-loving phone, baby. That's crazy. Here's the deal. The 2023 Model Y Tesla has moved beyond the standard key and fob, with many using the Tesla app to open and drive the vehicle. So you got to use your phone to be able to operate the car, which is insane. What if your phone dies? What if your phone runs out of juice? Are you screwed? But anyway, the app's chock full of helpful features, including the ability to send a push notification to your car if you leave your trunk open for more than 10 minutes. So if someone was loading Celeste's remains into the car, and it took more than 10 minutes to do so, David could have been received, or he could have received a notification about it. To be clear, we don't know for a fact David does have the notifications on, or even if he has the app. You can purchase a regular key fob from Tesla, which just needs to be on your person when you go to the door. And the car also comes with key cards, which can unlock the vehicle as well. And this is his car. This is the car. Because it's got those angel wings, right? For doors, right? Obviously, the Tesla loaded up with cameras too. Dash cam and cameras on the side of the vehicle can activate if in safety mode. Sentry mode turns the cameras of the vehicle on even while parked. If a threat is detected or the vehicle sensors determine there is a lot of jerky movement, like when getting towed or shaken. However, Sentry mode is disabled by default, and you need a Tesla USB flash drive plugged in to record around the clock. And again, we don't know if David had this setting enabled or if he had the flash drive, which would allow him to review the footage. So we already know about her body being found. She was not 15. She was 14, damn it. All right. But she said to other people that she was 19. Of course, she disappeared from her home in Lake Elsinore, California, about a year and a half earlier, which is wild that the parents didn't even try to go get her. And they knew exactly where their daughter was. That's pretty insane. Authorities say it's possible Celeste passed away weeks before she was discovered in the Tesla. And I agree. I think that the police are finally on to something. They're on to what I've been on, okay? That she was gone way before she was found. And I truly think that her body was moved. She was moved, guys. This is not a situation where she just no, she was moved, y'all. I truly think that. She lost her life and then she got moved. Here's the other thing too. This is a nothing burger. You want to know why? Well, the reason why this is a nothing burger is because who in their right mind is going to take 10 whole minutes to put remains in a trunk of a car or the frunk of a car? Hear me out. You got to be super slow or super dumb, unaware of the surroundings. Think about that for a second. Do you really think it takes 10 minutes to put remains in a car? Don't worry, I'll answer it for you. No! It doesn't take 10 minutes to put remains in a car unless those remains are separated. But why would it take 10 minutes? You have to be fast. Super fast. Andale. Veet. Quick. Right? This is not a situation where you're just sitting there and going, oh, God, I got to pull the thing and drag the body out here and then open the hood, open the hood of the trunk and put the body in. And it takes so much to put the body into the trunk that it takes 10 minutes to put the whole body in the trunk. No, it doesn't take that long. A lot of times you're frantic. Well, I mean, majority of the time you're frantic and you're trying to do it quickly so that nobody sees you put a body in the trunk of a car. So why would it take 10 minutes? So him sending or receiving a notification being like, your frunk is ajar. Your frunk is ajar. It doesn't make sense. Think about it. It doesn't make sense. Or that's somebody that's really lazy. Imagine that. They open the hood, the frunk of the car. They bring the body over and then they sit and they have a smoke break. Whoo, she's so heavy. Whoo! Let me pull out that chillum. Chilling in the cut. Ooh, man, this She's heavy. This is so much work. No, they're bringing it over. They're opening the thing and they're throwing her in there as quickly as they possibly can and closing it before a car passes. Or somebody looks outside and says, doesn't that look like somebody putting a body in the front of a black Tesla? Come here, Cletus. You don't see that? Looks like a man trying to put a body in the front of a car. He's taking this long ass time, though. What's taking so long? Damn. They're not doing that. They're going, funk, boom, gone. They're moving fast. They're not taking 10 minutes. So an email, a notification, because the hood of the hood of this frunk is open, is obsolete. It's obsolete. It's a waste of time. Or you're the laziest monster in the history of monsters. Like I said, this is a swift movement. You're not just sitting around and waiting. Okay? You're moving fast. So again, nah, homie, nah, bro. Okay? Yeah, and then she's light. She was light. Yeah, classic. She was light. She was very small and very light. So why would that take so much time? No, you're moving that quick. Bow. Open up the thing. Boom. Put her in there. Boom, boom, boom. Close it. Nobody saw. Pizza delivery guy driving by. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's nothing to see here, though. I'm just chilling by my car. You see what I'm saying? So something ain't right. It wouldn't take 10 minutes to put her, like I said, unless she truly was separated. It wouldn't take 10 minutes to put her body in the car. It really wouldn't. If her remains were intact or if her remains were separated and they're all in the same spot, it would not take that long. It really wouldn't. So that's weird. Interesting observation, though. It's good to know about the car. But again, you'd be paranoid as hell, Gemini. You'd be absolutely losing your mind. Scared as hell. Moving that around so fast, like moving it fast. Bang, bang, bang. You'd be moving fast. You're not going to sit there and just chill. You're not doing that. You ain't got time for that. So getting that kind of update, it's a waste. Probably didn't even happen. Okay? Probably did not even happen. Now, there's a video I just got from
I'll tell you guys
people.
I'll tell you guys a story.
Okay. This is him allegedly talking about Celeste. David is apparently talking about, people are assuming that this is him talking about Celeste. Let's take a listen.
A friend whose girlfriend continuously broke his heart and was continuously doing things that he knows that she'll keep doing, and he'll keep on having to take her back because that love is so strong, and she'll keep promising that she'll change, but she never changes, and he'll be at the verge of breaking up with her and leaving her, and then she'll be like, wait, can you please wait for me? I'll change. I promise I'll change. I'll change soon. I'll fix these problems. And he'll be like, okay, maybe I do have this faith that you will change, so I'll stay. Even at my own expense, I'm the one being hurt. I'm the one getting my heart broken. I'll stay because that love I have for you is so strong. And sometimes I wonder, as a simple person, as we all are simple people committing these sins, I'll tell you guys a story. I had a friend whose girlfriend continuously broke his heart and was continuously doing things that he knows that she'll keep doing, and he'll keep on having to take her back because that love is so strong, and she'll keep promising that she'll change, but she never changes, and he'll be at the verge of breaking up with her and leaving her, and then she'll be like, wait, can you please wait for me? I'll change. I promise I'll change.
Interesting that he's saying that story. And just for those of y'all who can't hear, okay, for the TikTok, he is basically saying, oh, I got a friend of mine that had a girlfriend that was always, they were always breaking up because she was, I don't know, breaking his heart all the time. And he kept on giving her chances over and over and over again. And then she's like, oh, no, give me another chance. Give me another chance. And he would give her another chance. Now, he could be telling the truth about a story about a friend of his, or he could very well be talking about his relationship with Celeste. There is also tweets or things that he has said online where he likes to be jealous. He likes the feeling of being jealous. Now, I don't know if that's him because that's his artistry and he needs a toxic relationship so he has something to talk about or something to write about or something to make music about. I mean, you know how these artists can be. Some of these artists are crazy, right? But again, he's basically saying, hey, I had a friend, he had a girlfriend that kept on like messing around or, screwing the relationship up. He would break up with her. She'd keep on saying, please take me back. Give me another chance. I just need another opportunity. I've changed, only to find out that she did not change. She just continued doing what she was doing. Now, here's the thing. Yes, all of this is still speculation. There has been a lot of rumor and a lot of speculation about maybe their relationship wasn't as perfect as people say that it was, and all that. All I can say is that these are rumors. These are all speculation, and God only knows. We don't know why she lost her life, but the thing is we don't know the origin story of how she lost her life, because it could have been as tragic, but as simple as her trying a substance for the first time and it being bad. It could be that too. And then somebody freaked out because she's not of age and then tried to hide the body. So again, like I said, there's a lot going on here. And there's so many levels to this situation. She is not of age. And that's the number one problem about this whole thing, is that she was no age of any age that she should be even running with people of the likes of David and his friends. Let's be real. Okay. So again, this is some really, really nutty stuff. Hold on. So again, I have a lot of questions. I know that you guys do as well. And rightfully so. I think there's going to be, we don't have all the answers yet. I think that a lot more is going to come out as time goes on, but they just keep giving us little breadcrumbs, which is really, really frustrating about this whole thing. Nothing but breadcrumbs, and we need more for sure. But let me get these super chats here real quick. Okay. Wait. Aunt Nene, Pascal, have you heard anything about there being a friend saying that she was home in 2025 and was attacked? No. There is some kind of video about it. Someone on YouTube named Ross. I'll take a look. I know that there's been a lot of theories, a lot of speculation, but not enough like solid, hardcore evidence on certain things. And that's something I'm wanting to hear more about, right? And yes, presumed, I agree. The fact that he is trending, like his music has made a serious uptick, that people are listening to his music and all that stuff. And he's, it's crazy. Like I said before, I feel like this is an episode of Black Mirror, like some really crazy, demonic, dark energy type stuff. And he's getting a claim to fame right now because of the loss of this young girl. That's insane. That's insane. And TT, I agree 110%. I believe everyone in her family, her neighborhood, you know what I mean? The people that surround her life. When I mean neighborhood, they all failed her. Absolutely. Because she was missing for a year and a half. She should have been saved and rescued a long time ago. But there are some theories about why, the family didn't go after her, didn't go and try to find her. And it's kind of like the same thing on certain families when they're dealing with somebody that has a very toxic relationship, or people with severe addiction issues. Think about this too. There's a lot of families that will sit there and go, okay, I understand you have this addiction. We're trying to get you off that crap. And they'll send them to countless rehabs only for them to go right back to using again, right? And then at some point, the families, the parents, etc., they'll sit there and go, you know what? I'm done. We can't save him anymore. We can't save her anymore. We keep on trying. We're spending so much money, countless times, countless moments where we're losing money, sleepless nights, and all we're doing is enabling this. It's only getting worse. We just have to step back and just let it be what it is. And I think the same thing happened with this situation. She kept running back to him, and the parents were like, we can't do anything about it anymore. We can't do anything. We can't. We're trying so hard, but nothing's working. We're just going to have to let her go. And maybe she'll come back. Maybe she'll learn quickly that she's made a mistake and she'll come back. And it didn't happen. She had been missing for 1.5 years, y'all. I'm sorry. For me, myself, I wouldn't be waiting that long. You see what I'm saying? Eventually, I'm calling cops. It's a few days, guys. For me, I'm like, it's a few days. It's less than a few days, actually. You know, that tough love will fall apart quickly because that's my child, right? That's my kid. I want her safe here. I can't go even a week. You know what I mean? I'm calling cops instantly. You better go get her. She's in the Hollywood Hills. We know exactly where she is, and we're gonna file a restraining order on this man. In fact, we're pressing charges this time. That's me, though. I'm a savage. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like that's what happened. This is her addiction, this man. And they tried and tried and tried, and it didn't work out. And then they said, all right, she'll come back. And then she never did. Pretty insane stuff. But let's take a look at these super chats. Again, thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. The Real Rebel, what's up? Not an Usher confession, but an obsession. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. You remind me of a girl. You know what I mean? Come on now. Soybean, thank you so much for coming back and becoming a member. I really do appreciate it. And just like Soybean, please hit that join button down below. Become a member if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Peg, thank you so much for the love. I'm with you, Pascal. We'll soon find out. Yeah, we will. I'm hoping we do. Okay. Happy days. Thank you so much for the love. Celeste, it was aging out, so to speak. A PDF doesn't want curves. Oh, PDF obsession is short-lived. Wow. You know, that's crazy for you to like. It's not crazy that you said that. It's crazy that that's even a theory. But that is a theory. That's possible. She may have been getting, in his mind, too old. And he was finding replacements. Like I said, he had an obsession. That's what I think. Fixation, obsession. For sure. Wanda Young, thank you so much for being a member for the last 10 months. I appreciate it. Cameras on Teslas can't be disabled, but you can manage and limit specific activity. Just a theory. Absolutely. The police, I'm sure, have some sort of footage. There's no way that they don't have any footage. And if they feel that things got deleted, I'm sure that they can do their electronic voodoo hoodoo that they do. And I'm sure they'll be able to scrub or retrieve some deleted videos, if any, from this car. It's got to be. There's got to be. You know what I mean? I already said that one. Prince of Persia, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. And then Hollis, thank you so much. Separate topic. Did you see the interview of Lorenz, or I say Lorenz because Lorenz Tate, but Lorenz Krause from Albany because he white. Yes, I've seen it. It's crazy. Okay. He's confessing live in an interview with the news that he took his own parents out. When he's there to talk about the crime and, to be like, I don't know how this happened. It's my parents and I can't believe this whole thing happened. No, he just said, yeah, I did that. And the reporter's like, no. I need you to say that verbatim. You did what? And he's like, yeah, I took out my mom and dad. Yeah. How did you do it? You know what I'm saying? But how did you do it though? Yeah, I did that like this. I'm not going to say it here, but go check it out. Lawrence Krauss. Crazy. That just is something. And he confesses to a local news reporter. Okay? Insane. All right? Yeah, I saw that too. I saw it a couple days ago. And I was like, damn, that's insane. That's real. Somebody actually really did that. Confessed in 4K. There's all kinds of, man, just people are evil. Stupid, yes, but evil. Evil as hell. Evil as hell. But guys, here it is. Obviously, we talked about what's going on with the LAPD. We heard from the manager, which I'm, if that really is the manager responding or making a statement, I'll leave that up to you guys. That's still up for, that's still up for confirmation. All right. But I'm still side-eyeing the hell out of what he said, if it is actually him, because I don't know if I believe what he's saying. Okay. There's no way that this guy did not know anything about Celeste. There's no way that this guy didn't know anything if you're paying for and bankrolling where this guy is, where David was staying, and you didn't know anything that was going on. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Especially when you got a car there that's registered under your name and you're telling me that you don't know anything. No, he's walking everything back because he's terrified and he doesn't want to get in trouble and be added into this mess that David is in and a part of. And all of this could very well be because of David and his very disturbing, obsessed ways and jealous ways, if that's the case. Okay. Wanda, yes, I did hear about his the song about unaliving. Yes. Yeah. I've listened to a bunch of his stuff. I had the weekend to sit down and listen to a whole thing. Okay. But again, it's interesting. Okay. And yeah. So again, we got more information. Go check out if you're just getting here, because some of y'all are getting here late to the party. Go hit that rewind. Check out my whole theory. Check out it all. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to break down. And yeah, I mean, everything's subject to change. It's just a theory. It's just speculation. I am not an officer. I am not a part of the case or anything of that sort. But with everything that we know so far, it is. I mean, this is how I'm putting it together. This is how it's all clicking together. But it could be off. And if it's off, we'll find out. We'll find out very soon, But I just really don't think that this girl lost her life. And while she's losing her life, happens to stumble and fall into the front trunk of this Tesla all by herself. Oh, let's not forget. I'm dying. And then she wraps herself in plastic as she falls perfectly into the front trunk of a Tesla. I just don't see it. I just don't. Okay. So we'll find out more information. This is crazy, but we're going to be, I got to get going, but we're going to be talking about this here very, very soon. I'm sure there's going to be more developments soon. But anyway, that is the show. Okay. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Be sure to tune in. We got some more conversations, most likely later tonight, to talk about, because there's a lot going on. Candace Owens is supposed to be dropping some bombshell stuff tonight, or this evening, or this afternoon, which I'm very interested to hear what she got to say. And then we're going to be talking about it. Hamburger indeed. Anyway, do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. Crush that follow button as well. All right. Subscribe. Follow. Hit that notification bell. And we'll be talking here very soon. Also, please make sure you're following me on my Facebook page. It's called The Pascal Show on Facebook. So go over there, follow that page as well, because there's a lot of updates that I'm putting out over there as posts and articles that I'm not doing as videos, because I ain't got time all the time. Okay. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a safe and wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys this evening, though. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.